Welcome back to Talkin' Winter Ops and our special series highlighting organizations working in the winter operations and road weather space. I'm Rick Nelson, and on behalf of the AASHTO Committee on Maintenance, their Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group, and the Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program, we're proud to host the 2024 National Winter Maintenance and Road Weather Briefing. Now, these briefings give organizations an opportunity to showcase their efforts to help you achieve your winter maintenance mission. Today, we're going to feature the Professional Snowfighters Association, and with us is their president, Wilf Nixon. Wilf, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Rick. How about you?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
There you go. Yes, I would say the same here. Bits of Iowa are still underwater over on the left side, the West Bank by the Missouri, but where I am, it's a lovely day, so that's good news.
So, Wilf, what's going on with the Professional Snowfighters Association this past year?
Well, we're doing our best to keep busy and keep moving forward. Got a number of things we've been bringing out this year that are a little new for us. One of them, there is a concern, and this is for all the agencies out there, not just state agencies, about the issue of calibrating your trucks, your spreaders, so that you actually know what's coming out on the road. And it's distressing, but perhaps understandable, that there are a number of agencies, rather a high number of agencies, that don't have good calibration on their spreaders. One of the most common issues is they believe they get the spreaders pre-calibrated when they come from the factory, and they're not.
Oh.
So we're lots of people have talked and written about this in the past, and even videos and things like that. We are pushing that we have as many sessions as we can get around the country on calibration so that people get trained. But we decided that it would be a good idea to put together a resource page. So we have a simple resource page. It includes a bunch of videos on calibration that you can just click on and get to. It includes a bunch of written resources, guides, so on and so forth. The third part is links to the major manufacturers or the current major manufacturers of spreaders. We would like in time to make that a little more specific so you can go directly to their calibration guide for this model of this spreader, but we're not there yet. Nonetheless, we have that. I've sent you a briefing page, and on there is a QR code, which I'm very proud to say that I made all myself. And it does actually work. That will take you directly to that page. So, that's a great thing. We felt that was a very useful resource for anyone. And this is not just for our members. This is for the world over. We are giving out, probably annoyingly, postcard handouts with the QR code on, all that sort of thing. We see this as one of our responsibilities in terms of serving the industry. There is a need, information on calibration. Let's pull together what's available there and see if we can help people who are clearly, for whatever reason, struggling to get the calibration done. So that would be one thing. Sorry, go ahead.
One of the things with respect to calibration that I've sort of come across is that, folks seem to think that, I've calibrated it, and that calibration will stay stable over time.
Right.
I'm just kind of curious. There are lots of different things that can impact that initial calibration, which sort of drives this need, if you will, to take a look at that and make sure that you're getting what you think you're getting every year.
Absolutely. We and I think best practice is very clear. It's something you do as summer turns into autumn or autumn turns into winter. It's a great thing to have done. the other time you need to do it is anytime there's a change in your hydraulics. If you have to replace a hose or a valve, that's going to impact the calibration. You need to redo it. It's not a huge task. I mean, I'm sure you've done stuff like this in one way or another. It's not thrilling, but it doesn't take you 5 days or something. It's
Right.
an hour, maybe a few hours. If you get set up, you can get through all your trucks in relatively quick time in any given location. So we would love to see more and more of that happening. I think it's very good for us as an industry in terms of our commitment to good environmental stewardship, our commitment to cost containment, and our commitment to simply manage operations. You are very familiar because we've talked about it often. You cannot manage what you do not measure. And if
Right.
you ain't calibrated, you aren't measuring a thing. You're just guessing.
Right. Yeah. Well, when the measuring stick changes, right?
Yeah.
It's like somebody chopping the end of your measuring stick off. You got to start over again.
Exactly. So that's one thing. This seems to have been well received, and it may be down the road we'll look at doing other things along these lines. And again, it's simple. One page on a web page. We create the links, or where possible, we get the documents on our website. So, link rot is real.
Right.
And for example, all the documents we have on there, we've actually got the documents on our website. So if our website is up, you can get those documents. I'm not sure that's true with all of our videos, but we've tried to make it as true as we possibly can. And I think that's an important feature. We've all run into this thing where, I need to go and look at this report, and you go to find it and it's not there anymore.
Yeah, the link is broken.
Yes, and we don't need broken links. We need live links. So that would be one thing we've done. That got out last fall. We've been pushing it a number of times since then, and we will keep on pushing it until we hear that everybody's calibrating. So I'll probably get very boring on that over time, but that's okay. We've been working for our membership. We do a number of training videos. Here's why this, here's why that, and we came up with a new concept about a year ago of what we've called the bite-size video, which is the rules are it's never longer than 15 minutes, and shorter is always better. So it's 1 point. And, it might be, it's not just 1 point, but it's one question. Why do we pre-wet our salt? Okay. Well, there are several reasons. We can go through that. That one, I think, came to about 11 and a half minutes. We're working through, we've got a list of topics that will get us up to 100 of those videos for our members by the end of this year. They may at that point tell me they are heartily sick of my voice, in which case we'll simply bring in AI and have me sound like, I don't know, Homer Simpson or Bugs Bunny. One way or another, we'll fix that. But, it's just, there is so much out there. There are so many issues, and just a few quick slides. It's something you can do in a lunch hour or a morning meeting, or it doesn't have to be huge. As you know, I came up through academia, so this has been hard for me because I'm trained on the 50-minute presentation, and getting it down under 15 minutes is a challenge for me. But I'm happy to say I have managed to meet that challenge so far. So,
well, and it's like when you have a burning question, it's like you don't want to go through an hour-long presentation, I've got a question, I need an answer, I'm going to do a Google search, because that's how people are getting their information these days, right?
Yes,
With
very much so.
with their mobile devices, it's like, let's go out there and see about this, that, or the other thing, and give it to me short, sweet, and to the point.
Yep. And so we're trying to do that. As I say, we're building the library at the moment, and it's building fast and furious. So before the Fast and the Furious episode 23 comes out, I'm sure we'll have them all up there. You know.
So now, is this for members only, or is this for the general population?
This is for members only. This is part of what you get when your agency joins up. If your agency joins, anyone in your agency can get access to these through having their own ID that allows them to go in and do that. And
okay,
you know, we think it's a value added proposition for our members. You know, and frankly, to do all that and just let the general public see it for no recompense is not a sustainable business practice. Let's call it that.
Right. Right. So,
you know.
So are there other products out there that you got before we sort of tangent off and talk about how to become a member?
Sure. There are, let's see, we do our webinars, and they are somewhat sporadic at the moment, because it depends on, you know, who we can convince to come and do a webinar. We are, again, we're changing our format on that away from a more traditional PowerPoint presentation. I'm still okay with slides, but I would much rather have a discussion rather than, you know, let's take people through my 473 slides and see how many are awake at the end. So we're doing those things. I've got about 4 or 5 bubbling away, but we haven't quite got to the point of doing that now. The webinars are available for anyone to register for, and I try and get them out to as wide a group as possible. But, excuse me, the recordings of the webinars are on the members only side. Let's put it that way.
So you can participate real time, but if you want to go
Yes.
back and review those recordings, it requires some membership.
Yeah. We are continuing to build opportunities for in-person meetings. We've got one coming up in August of this year. We're working with the Chicago chapter of APWA. That's going to be in Addison, Illinois, which is really a Chicago suburb. It's over west of Chicago. And that's, it's a 2-day thing. The second day is dedicated the morning to the APWA Operators Certificate for Winter Maintenance. So we view that as an opportunity to give the APWA training. On the first day, we'll have a variety of topics talking about sensors, new techniques, hanging on to your operators and encouraging more people to become operators. We're also going to have a hands-on calibration demonstration in the parking lot. So, you know, we're trying to make those things happen. We're investigating, and this hasn't got further than investigating, but I think it's of interest. I was fortunate enough to go out to Amsterdam at the beginning of June for the SOEC meeting, and a lot of good stuff there. A lot of, basically, you know, one of the key themes is how do you take weather information and use it along with other stuff to help you make your decisions. A lot of interest in using AI to do that. And one of the things that struck me and several others who were there was, this is good stuff, but when it's in Europe, you're not going to get people from the US coming to it. just not going to happen. So is there a way that we might have a U.S. chapter of SOWEC that PSA would work with them, and we might do a meeting probably early May next year. It's very tentative, with the theme basically of data wrangling. And we'd be looking for reports where an agency has worked with a vendor or maybe a couple of vendors to help them wrangle all their data in a way that allows them to make better decisions. We would probably go with a flipped script on this, so we get all the presentations beforehand, as we have done with the TRB thing, and then use most of the time for discussion, because that seems to be the richest way of holding these meetings. Probably be a 2-day meeting. We'd be looking to be somewhere easily accessible. We haven't figured out where yet, but that probably rules out Jackson Hole, I'm afraid.
As much as we would like to go there, right?
Exactly. Yes. So there are, that's a series of possibilities. But other stuff, I think those are really the key bits I wanted to get out there and share with you and let you know. We are involved with as many winter things as we can be, so that when we discover new stuff going on out there, we can bring it back and share it. So, for example, this whole artificial intelligence thing is one that is, I think, well, it is a hot topic. I think it's a very interesting topic for us. Where it ends up going, if you know that, let me know, because I'm not sure. But it is going to be important in one way or another, I think, is very clear.
Well, it's certainly going to be one of those disruptive technologies that's going to shake up the way that we do our business. I mean, it almost can't not be, right?
Yeah, and I'm one of the low-hanging fruit that comes from that is what I'm thinking of as AI's ability to be a super searcher. When you do a search on Google or whatever, it typically looks at titles of documents, and it might look at abstracts of documents. But AI has the ability to look at all the document. So that gives you a much, sometimes you don't always get a complete picture from either the title or the abstract. Having the whole thing in there, and there are supposedly ways in which you can develop an internal AI that just works on one website where you have various information available to it. You feed that information in, and then it gives you searches based on that information. Interestingly enough, that was something that the Dutch Transportation Authority is working on. They are working with, I think it's the Google AI system. No, it's not Google, it's Microsoft, sorry. To helping them with decision-making by going in and basing its answers primarily off their policy documents. And whenever it gives you an answer, it cites where it comes from. So, if you're wondering, should we go out and treat the roads? It's going to tell you, well, this policy says this says this says this. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. Well, you can take that further and see where it goes. There must be more to it than just that.
Right.
But even just that is pretty impactful, I think, especially as we head into a situation where more and more of our operators in the winter maintenance realm have less and less experience.
Right.
Big challenge for us there. So
tell us a little bit about the PSA. You're a nonprofit?
We are a nonprofit trade association, which means that our job is to do our best to represent and serve the needs of the trade through membership. membership fees. So in what you might call a vision statement sort of language, our goal is to produce a community of good practice, okay, in winter operations, which is all very highfalutin, but a large part of that is having the documents that you need, having the resources, the training resources you need, the opportunity to work with other people who are facing the same problems or very similar ones as you. And membership provides that for our members. Again, yes, you can join as an individual, but what we're looking for, the backbone of our membership would be agencies to join. So a whole state DOT or a city or a county or a village or whatever they may call them in different parts of the country, they all have their own thing, can join, and anyone within their organization that they designate, they get tied to their email an account. And they can then come in and view all the good stuff, the behind the paywall stuff.
Right.
For agencies, we charge the shockingly high price of $500 a year, which for most agencies is going to work out significantly less than $5 a person. We do have membership as well for vendors because, again, we want a community of practice, and particularly when it comes to some of the modern challenges dealing with all this wonderful data that we now have, we should expect industry to help us develop solutions to that. And so we want industry involved in the discussion. Now, that doesn't mean their solution is right for you, but it might be right for Fred or for Mary. They have a solution, okay. Maybe they have multiple solutions. We want them part of the discussion. And one of the nice things about a trade association is you can do that. I know that some states have strict limitations on discussions between employees of state agencies and vendors. In some cases, you can't have any at all, which I think is limiting because there are good solutions out there. And yes, obviously, we all know it can go too far the other way and bad things can happen. But if you have a trade association that these discussions can go on in, then that gives you an area of developing discussion and conversation around certain topics that are key to all of us in winter maintenance operations. Now, not every winter maintenance agency has to deal with an EPA permit process, but some do. And the ones that do probably need all the help they can get. Well, let's have them working together, sharing information, finding additional resources, and somebody with the ability to come in and say, hey, what about this? It doesn't matter who they are, whether it's me or you or a different agency or even a vendor. The what about this is worth hearing about. It may not be the answer, but it's a good thing. So that's kind of what we are, a very strong mandate, if you will, on communication and education, getting information out there, trying to identify not just the problems, but potential solutions to the problem. Understanding, first of all, one size does not fit everybody. Each agency is going to have specific needs, and anyone who comes along saying, I have the magic silver bullet, probably needs to be shown the door. But, it's also, let's have good, meaty, fruitful discussions. about these issues that impact all of us. So,
Right.
sorry, that's rambling a bit, but
Well, but you know what it does is it provides an environment for synergy,
yes,
right? And I mean, you mentioned your membership ranges all the way from state DOTs to villages,
yeah,
and while everybody's challenges are a little unique, you know, you can take a small DOT subregion, for example, that ends up operating a lot like a smaller village or a smaller town, and so, um, you know, I think having access to those kinds of discussions and those kinds of solutions and ways to approach a particular problem, you know, particularly as you mentioned, you know, we've got sort of a skill gap there, if you will, and
right,
we need to get folks up to speed as quickly as possible. So I think it's a
yes.
great
And
resource, right?
well, that's the goal. Make it a great resource, make it accessible to everyone. And I know you and I have discussed this. It is no longer, um, well, we're going to write a guide, or, well, we're going to do a video. It's, well, we're going to do as many different things as we possibly can, because everybody learns in different ways. And we just
Yeah.
need to make sure it's all out there, so, you know,
All right. So how do folks find you?
how do
What's your
folks
website?
find us? Our website is Professional Snowfighters Association.org. And if you go to that, and let me see, you go to membership, there is an option for individual, agency, or corporate membership in the drop-down menu. And if you click on whichever one is appropriate, you can just add it to the cart, and your life is good. Now, of course, we can invoice you, we can do all the things that agencies need, and some of them need more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But going through all the purchasing rules and so on and so forth, yes, we're going to make that happen. Get you set up. We are revamping our communication with our members, so over the coming year there will be a lot more, we hope, to and fro with the members, so that they can gain, get more value added. Our goal, add value for our membership so that they can see a return on their investment, and
Right.
very much focused on that.
So Wilf, just out of curiosity, how long has the Professional Snowfighters Association been out there?
Gosh, we began in 2019, so this is now our 5-year anniversary, and we are still alive and kicking, or at least moving, and growing. We've, I think, and I fully understand this, that you come out and you say, "Oh, we're this new trade association." Well, there's going to be some skepticism, so. We did round up a number of the usual suspects to come and join us early on, and they've been very supportive through the years. But we are growing in terms of our agencies and in terms of our vendors, and the two go together very well. And the more membership we have, the more resources we have to be able to develop new materials,
Right.
above and beyond 100 training videos, which I think is enough to drive anyone to distraction. I mean, if you can make it through those and you're still going to drive a plow, you're probably committed. So
Right.
maybe it's a test like that, or maybe you should be committed. That's a different issue, but it's
All right. Well, did we leave anything out, Wilf? Is there anything else that we need to mention about the Professional Snowfighters Association?
I'm nothing that leaps at. I mean, there are other things that we have. We have things like one-pager documents that we make available. We have a self-assessment tool, things like that. But no, we have covered the key things and the new things over this past 12 months. It is one of the awesome things is the ability to work with the industry in as many different places as possible and as many different organizations as possible to see which way things are going and to try and respond to that by, making information available, not just to the members, although they'll get first dibs, but to our community in general. And, to give you an example of that, this AI issue is of such concern, impact, whatever. APWA is going to do what they call an online summit for a couple of days, mid to late January of 2025. We'll get more information out. It's all about how do you use AI in public works. So anyone who's doing any sort of public works things, which definitely, any DOT is in that ballpark, this would be a good thing to attend virtually and to be involved in. So we'll make sure we get information on that out and share that with people.
Okay.
Because again, it's about communication, it's about building the community and making sure, insofar as we can, that we all have the best available information to allow us to make good decisions going forward.
Right. And that's what it's all about.
Amen. On a good day, anyway.
Well, Wilf, what we'll do in the show notes, we'll post the URL to the Professional Snowfighters Association. We'll post a link to your resource sheet and your email address. So with the invitation that if folks have a question or an interest in the Professional Snowfighters Association, they'll know where to go to get their needs met and their answers or their questions answered.
Excellent. Rick, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you and with your podcast listeners information about the PSA and to take part in the 5th National Briefing. So again, big thank you, sir.
Well, and Wilf, again, thank you for the update on the Professional Snowfighters Association. As I mentioned, Wilf's contact information and links to the PSA are listed below this video and in the notes, so you can reach out and learn more about the Professional Snowfighters Association. You can listen to all the briefings and other Talkin' Winter Ops episodes on our website, talkinwinterops.com, or wherever you get your podcast content. Video versions are available on our Talkin' Winter Ops YouTube channel. So until next time, thanks for tuning in and stay safe out there.